15 seconds. Hi there, welcome. We're coming live from the VMUG UserCon in the Netherlands. Now I'm here with Joe Baguly.
Yep, good to be here.
Appreciate you taking the time, Joe, to have a quick chat with us.
No worries. You should have ITQ written on these.
Yeah, we should have ITQ in here, right? Yeah, so what do you think of the conference so far?
Well, you know, I came to, I've done a couple of Dutch VMUGs, keynoted one a few years ago now, and I remember them being huge and full of energy, and I come here and it's still huge and full of energy, and there's a whole bunch of, a large number of people here, the biggest one in Europe again, which I think everyone should be proud of, and yeah, I think I always feel when I come to a VMUG, it's like coming back to a bunch of friends, right? Coming back to a community, and it's less work, and it's more just hanging out with some people that, are a good laugh, and that's exactly what this feels like, I think.
Yeah, so it's a good mix of learning new stuff and also meeting people old and new. That's always good at a VMUG. So you delivered a great keynote this morning, Joe. You mentioned you did not do predictions, but you did have like really 10 really solid points that you wanted to bring across. If I may, maybe just one or two highlights out of your... the big one for me that resonated really well is, of course, what should we print on a t-shirt?
I want to get t-shirts made that say "Cloud first is not cool." Okay, let's get this out there. Cloud first is not cool, and there was a whole the point about that is I think we're kind of over that. I think, and every time I say "Cloud first is not cool," the whole audience usually laughs and then sighs and then does a lot of nodding, because we're all kind of tired of this. We've signed a big deal with a big cloud provider or whatever it is, or we've decided we're going to put everything in the cloud, and we've spent years trying to do it, and it's just not happening fast enough, and some of it's coming back, and new workloads are doing different things. And so, I think it's more of a collective therapy. That's why I call myself Chief Therapy Officer sometimes, that we can all come together and understand that, we're all in the same boat, and we have to understand that actually it's not about cloud first, it's about the right workload in the right place, and that's what Cloud Smart's all about. Exactly. And understanding that it's multi-cloud, but it's edge, it's on-premises, it's sovereign clouds, it's service provider clouds, it's all this stuff all added together. It's not just I'm going to put everything over there.
Yeah, and I think you made a really great point, Joe, in being fully aware of the fact that it's VMware telling to the market cloud first is not really a really solid strategy, but we're really seeing the examples coming from the customers, right? It's we've seen it as well. Multiple customers doing big cloud migrations because somebody told them, which was actually your point, right? And it's failing miserably. The costs are skyrocketing. They're not getting the pace in the migration as they would like. So yeah, it really resonates with me a lot.
Well, I think the point is, right, I'm not saying cloud's bad, don't get me wrong,
not.
right?
No.
There's some fantastic use cases for certain things in the cloud, and those have been successful. It's when you see people trying to put everything in the cloud, and you see these poor IT departments where someone senior has decided we're putting everything in the cloud, and they sit there going, that doesn't need to go in the cloud, that's going to be more expensive, that's not going to work, this just doesn't, that thing, that'll work. I think that's the challenge, and I think having a realization in an organization that cloud's not the thing, it's just another thing. Yeah, that's the big point.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So another one that I think is really relevant to the VMware community is the skill gap that you were talking about. Could you explain a bit in your...
So look, when I first started coming to these kind of events, now obviously when I started my career there was no VMware. I'm that old. But I was attending similar events around Microsoft technology and believe it or not, Novell technology, because I wanted as an individual to learn skills, understand what skills I needed to take the next step in my career. And the people that I meet at VMUGs, they're here doing the same. And if I go out and talk to my customers, every customer I talk to has a skills shortage. They're all trying to use new technology, finding out that there's no skills around that new technology yet because it's so new, and not realizing that amongst the people they already have with years of experience of lots of different technologies, there's a chance they could pick this technology up and be the leaders in that too. So the message really here around skills is, look around at the technologies that are coming, which is kind of what my presentation was about, and understand where you're going to go next. So look, AI, large language models, that's a really good example, ChatGPT. So if you look at something, and I don't want to talk about ChatGPT alone, but everyone's talking about it, right? Generative AI is cool. But let's think about that, and I've had a couple of people already since my presentation here come and chat to me, which is what I love at these conferences. And one of them was like, so where should I be taking my skills next? And I said, well, think about it. If you're spending your life writing scripts for Terraform right now and creating YAML files, do you think with things like ChatGPT around, in 2 or 3 years' time, you're going to be writing scripts for Terraform and YAML files? Or are people like me going to be coming along saying, I want this to do that with that, and something's going to generate it for me? So when you think about skills, you've got to think, okay, what's coming, and what do I invest my time in? Yes, automation's there, but I need to move up the next layer, and the next layer, and the next layer. And so, yeah, 12 years ago, I was talking to customers that were managing vSphere 5 and saying, you need to look at automation. Now I'm saying, look at the next level, at the next level.
There's something always, something is always next, right? That's it. Yeah. Well, Joe, we could spend an hour talking about all the.
I would love to. Be cool.
Yeah, I'd love to. But I think you have a busy agenda as well.
Yep.
I think you have an important lunch coming up. So thank you so much for taking the time, Joe.
Brilliant.
Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to this channel. More live streams will be coming from the UserCon. And thanks.